Guys, hello, welcome to another Monday night of Sports Entertainment Weekly. So we didn't have Premier League, but Barca won a game, that too against Real Madrid. So I figured let's get on a stream. So I
I mean, even without like Premier League match days and stuff, right? The FA Cup cooked up some really edge of the seat thrillers. Edge of the seat thriller in the form of Manchester United versus Arsenal. We won't even get that. I don't think we haven't even got that kind of a thriller, top six thriller in the Premier League, right?
It was not just
That's,
that. Even Tottenham struggled against time overs. Like they went to extra time. They
yeah.
scored 3 goals. The scoreline at the end of the
No,
day looks flattering. But if you see how they played, and if you ask a Tottenham fan, they wouldn't have been extremely happy.
yeah.
But Tottenham could do the funniest thing in midweek against Arsenal.
Yeah. Another funny thing that I'm really puzzled about is Timo Werner, a guy who actually bagged the man of the match in a UCL semi-final against Real Madrid when Chelsea won the Champions League, is struggling like doesn't know how to play football against a team like
He was
Tamworth.
struggling at Chelsea
Yeah.
also.
Okay.
It's just that the system made sure that he was not the player that he was. I don't know how we managed to get 55 million for Timo Werner when we sold him to Leipzig. I'm still in shock. Even Morata, I wouldn't be shocked, but we sold him for the same price we got him.
No. Morata is a generational money launderer. Okay, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid, all those teams.
Barcelona, no, he didn't go.
Sorry. Okay. All these 3 or 4 teams launder money through Alvaro Morata, and somehow Alvaro Morata, he does something behind the shades. Okay, nobody knows that. I'm convinced. Yeah.
Okay, let it be known that Arsenal fans aren't cowards. I'm here on this stream to talk about the very very disappointing result. That two results actually, where we went out of the FA Cup and we are on the verge of probably going out of the League Cup in the matter
1
of a
foot
week.
out of the League Cup.
1 foot out of the League Cup. Yes, exactly.
Pretty much 2 feet. We are kind of like it's like a Mumbai local train where you're just hanging on by
given the injury concerns again, I don't think so. There is no way you're going to come back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. There's a lot of maybe we can talk about the FA Cup game, which was very disappointing. I think there's a lot of chatter about there is no way that if you look at that game,
Okay,
United.
Rohit, before you start, one question. Why did Raya jump like that for all of the 5 penalties? Why did he jump like that? There is a way that normal human beings jump, and then there is the way that Raya jumped yesterday. Why was it so robotic? Why was it so orchestrated or something like that? I don't know.
He was jumping at 100.
I kind of feel like I kind of feel like there was I can't explain it because Raya has typically been an actually very good goalkeeper.
Highlight
can you hear me?
Chris highlighted.
Yeah, he's been a pretty good goalkeeper for us. He's like the penalty shootout against Porto last year in the Champions League. He did really well. He saved a penalty against Atalanta, but I don't know why he did whatever he did. I can only imagine he did that based on some instructions. So either he was the thing on adrenaline or something like that, or Inaki Kanya, the goalkeeping coach, specifically told him to do something weird. So yeah, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, it's like why should strikers have all the fun with their stutter and fancy kicks? As a goalkeeper, let me do something for a change.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can just imagine it was some kind of weird mind game in his head at that point.
No, but he was so stuck in his point when the striker or the penalty taker comes on to take the penalty, and then he suddenly jumps somewhere in like a robot or like quick reflex or something. I couldn't make sense of why Raya was like that yesterday when he could have been like a normal goalkeeper trying to jump and save a penalty.
Yeah.
Every single football Twitter guy who has basic ball knowledge told that Raya was like on drugs or on crack or something, jumping like that and stuff. So yeah.
All I could say is that it shouldn't have gotten anywhere near that point.
Yes.
With Arsenal being up by a man and having a very favorable penalty decision go in their favor. That's a rarity. But they didn't put the game to bed. 3+ XG, and they couldn't score. At this point, the Arsenal strikers can't finish a ham sandwich. It's been really bad. The past 3 games, Arsenal have had 8+ XG, and they've scored 1 goal. And the only goal has been scored by Gabriel Magalhaes, and it's not a header from a set piece. So,
like Kanan says, shout out to Kai Havertz.
Interestingly, he brings it out. No, I want to now ask you this. Okay, Havertz was originally bought into Arsenal as a hybrid 8. That didn't work. He changed to number 9. Now that's not working. So at what point is? No, I mean, again, it's a very tough week for him, but he's been poor this season. Actually, to be fair, some games he's been really good. But the criticism of Havertz is, again, if he is not going to work as a number 9 and he's going to, Arsenal are forced, have their hands forced to bring another number 9 or a striker. At what point do you actually put him as a, Havertz hasn't worked at Arsenal?
Rohit, before you answer that, I would like to take this because we have our own version of Kai Havertz, one Mr. Ferran Torres. And my thought process is, hey, nothing to laugh here. Okay? It's a serious problem for all of us.
No, when you said Ferran Torres, automatically I laughed. Man, come on.
See, he has had a purple patch, but I still wouldn't trust him to get the job done in front of goal. People like him, Kai Havertz, or even Antoine Griezmann, who is kind of the master of this position, playing as a second striker, getting in between the defenders. Griezmann, let's put him aside. He's a killer finisher. These two are not. That's the problem. I don't think these people have a place in modern football. You don't really have like that number 9 concept itself. The number 9s come back and play as second strikers, dropping in the likes of Harry Kane or even Haaland. And when your number 9s do that, automatically like you're limiting the games of these second strikers. And the fact that Arsenal doesn't even have a proper number 9 means Kai Havertz really doesn't have that complementary striker that he can, thrive off.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I think it's a good question to ask. What is a Kai Havertz? Because I think this is the meta question, right? If you look at it, Kai Havertz was actually our top scorer in 2024. He's been our top scorer so far this season. So to call him a failure, I think it's very incorrect because he's done a really good job.
I think at what point? I think your guys did not get Kai Havertz for one season. Let's get that straight.
Yeah.
He played well. You guys bought Kai Havertz to get you to the next level and not above the NKTL level. If he's coming back to the NKTL level, and you're paying him what 275 to 300k, close to 300k per week.
I recently learned that that's just 150k in hand in the UK. So
poor footballers, only 150k per week in hand.
Oh.
How can they even survive in this economy with that kind of money, right?
Yeah,
anyway, actually, let me
the numbers of Havertz and Rashford.
Agreed. I think the point is that Arteta, above all managers, values a lot of tactical flexibility. And with Havertz, the thought was he could, depending on certain game states, certain opposition, he can play in the left 8 role with Declan Rice at the base of the midfield. In some games, he can play up forward as a target man. And he's done both to varying levels of success. His best position needs a proper number 9, which it was that he could get away with Gabriel Jesus. Jesus has never been the same after his knee injury that he suffered in the 2022, just in the lead up to the World Cup.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, and yesterday, unfortunately, I think there's rumors that he has ruptured his ACL. So that's like, if you look at it, the injury luck has, that's. So his season, probably the rest of this calendar year is over. So that's really unfortunate because Arsenal had Saka out until at least the end of March. We had his out as well. He has picked up some muscular issue. And now we have Gabriel Jesus also out. So our actual 4 strikers, if you think about it, are Gabriel Martinelli, Trossard, Sterling, and Havertz, who have all not been firing really well. In fact, the biggest disappointment for me has been Trossard. He has been really, really poor considering how clutch of a finisher he has been for Arsenal. And I think his time at Arsenal, it's kind of running its course. There's some rumors that he is also rejected some contract talks, so it might be best for us to move on. But like a few weeks ago, I said that it's now like, most likely over for Arsenal because he was the one who was propelling Arsenal forward and he was the lethal finisher that we had. After he was gone, I was I said, unless we go into the market and get some good attacker to take his place and carry some of the attacking burden, we are done. I think that's kind of the time. There might still be a slim hope of, us taking the title fight for a few more weeks, but I think it's very, very unlikely now. I have to be real about it. I don't think that we are going to get the kind of player we want before the summer. We already needed like 2 attackers. We'll have to spend way more money. The board is cautious with what they want, what they want to spend on. I think all in all, I think it's been a very disappointing, stuttering halt to the season. So yeah, I mean, like you said, Spurs might have an option to do the funniest thing, but I don't think they will.
No, the thing is, I know you guys are playing at Emirates. I know you guys have the best record against Spurs, but I still feel this injury struck Arsenal. I think, unfortunately, Spurs have the upper hand at this point in time.
Yeah. I think it will be a closer game. Like, there's no way Spurs are going to dominate or anything like that. But I think
Hopefully
Arsenal
not.
are going to. We are going to end up with another thing like Arsenal 4.2 xg and Spurs like 1.2 xg, and then it's going to finish like 2-1 to Spurs or something like that. And that's pretty much Arsenal's season done in the league as well. So yeah, very disappointing way
Where
to the
does
end
the
of the
season
season.
actually? How does Arsenal fan think after? Let's say you guys hypothetically saying you guys lose against Spurs. What's next?
Mm-hmm. What's next? I think the only thing is then at that point, we have to just keep going game by game. If you're not winning the league, I would at least want us to keep up our level of performances, end the season top 3, reach the semifinals, quarterfinals or semifinals of the Champions League. That's a stretch with the injuries we have. And it's just the reality of the situation. Again, it brings me back to like, my mind goes back to the Liverpool team from like 2 or 3 seasons ago, where instead of having such an amazing season the year before and the year after, they ended that season on 5th place. And it's just sometimes, if your best players are out, what are you going to do? You're not going to solve all your issues in like one.
Yeah.
There's no magic bullet in real life.
The board will also be shrewd not to make any signings and keep these unrealistic expectations that there is still a turnaround waiting to happen. Instead, it's just easy to write off the season with injuries as the
Yeah, I think it's at this point like it would not. I still see that at least we should get one signing in. One of the players that I'm really, really high on is Brian Mbeumo. He's very underrated outside the top 6. I mean, he scores his goals, but he kind of keeps flying under the radar. Other players get a lot of the hype and things like that. But I feel like he is the same profile, not the same like don't misquote me here. He's the same profile as a Salah or a Saka, and he goes under the radar all the time. So Liverpool would be wise to sign him in the summer, but I would be ecstatic if we could get him. Just as we need another winger. We're not going like Sterling was like a gamble that didn't pay off. Jesus is pretty much done. He's like 28. He's 27. He's going to be 28 by the time he comes back if his ACL thing is true. Martinelli, he is not hit the heights that I expected him to hit like a couple of seasons ago. So yeah, we need some more options there, and I think Mbeumo is my shout. There are others in the market, but this is the most PL ready attacker that I can think of that who we can get and who can actually make a material difference to the side.
All right, with that, let's move on to Anirudh and Chelsea. Anirudh, state of affairs for Chelsea. I think if we had done this like 1 month back, you would have walked in with a sunglass or something on top of the world.
I think I can still do that. The current state of things, how it's been going for the last 2 seasons, we are still in 3 competitions. Well, hypothetically, 2. Not about I'm not taking PL into account, but definitely we are in Conference League and FA Cup for the moment. But again, I think he's gotten a lot of stability, Maresca, and it's looking good. I just want a very stable season, nothing uh, expansive. I just want a 70 point and I will take a conference league. That's all I want. If you guys go take me deep into FA Cup and probably semi-finals and finals, that's something that we can look to. Nikit, but I think there are players who are starting to become unhappy in terms of Renato Vega, and I think everything is speaking too early for him. His games are the Chelsea how they are playing is speaking too early. The squads are becoming restless too early. Everything is happening a little bit too early for him. I expect the squad to be unhappy after the season, not during the season. And given the transfer window, people might want to leave, might want to stay, and how much minutes they've played. But again, Chelsea hold all the power at this point. When you want to sell a player, or when teams are interested in one
Those
particular player,
amortized 9-year contracts
yeah,
coming to
you
the
want to
rest.
buy him, you pay the money. We are happy when we are able to sell players like Timo Werner for 45 to 50 million. We'll be fine in terms of sales. So
Okay, audience request.
yeah, I mean, flaws of Enzo Maresca, you can see his limitations automatically. When you want to talk about flaws, I don't want to be hypercritical. He's a very stable manager. He's like a manager. You do my stuff, and then we will change and we will adapt. And it's just half a season. Being critical about Enzo Maresca from where he is, yeah, given the situation before December and after December looks bleak, but I again think Enzo Maresca has done a fabulous job till now at Chelsea, but you can definitely see the limitations. His ball progressions are definitely slower. He needs a specific type of player. He has a specific system. He doesn't want an overlapping fullback. He wants a technical winger on right or left, on a pacey winger on the left. It's vice versa. So there are limitations, and he has certain kryptonite. Like let's say if you play a long ball over him, he has kryptonites against that. He is slow build up immediately gets bypassed. So there are things, but again, I think that's how he will come and adapt at the end of the season. That's where you
We
make the tweak.
ask a lot out of United this particular question. Hey, the player manager mismatch. Unfortunately, because you signed like 430 players in the last 2 years, we have never really gotten around to asking, does Enzo Maresca have the right set of players that he needs to shine? If
I
not,
think
what's a base that you would like to revisit?
he does have his type of players. He's definitely, see. I would say this for any managers. Okay, it's just that you've seen the players, you've seen what are the players available at Chelsea, and you've also seen what are the type of players that are available and not available, and you come into the club with open arms, and you can't say like I am surprised that this player wants to be given minutes and this player doesn't wants to be given minutes. All this must have been discussed before him coming, and I genuinely think he has his players. It's just that one or two positions, I definitely think he needs a goalkeeper, and Sanchez is not the way to go forward. And centre backs, I think he is too reliant on Fofana, and Fofana is not someone who can be relied on. And Disasi, and I think Badiashile. I think Badiashile is still being rated at Chelsea. Disasi, I think, will be stepped out. I don't know who's going to buy him. I'll be very surprised on the players or the teams that's going to buy Disasi. But I again think he is not too short, but he has a specific style and system, and I feel he's just one or two players short, genuinely. Probably a striker, and probably two to three center backs. Yeah, Chelsea definitely needs center backs. They can't defend their lives to save.
Yeah, question for you. I think what happens is when a manager comes into a side with the kind of expectations that a Liverpool or a Chelsea or a Manchester United have is the tactics are one thing. Enzo Maresca is a top tactician, but there's things like how you represent the club, how you talk about the players, how you're savvy in the market. Do you have any comments about how Enzo Maresca addresses some of that? Because Like, this is as a complete outsider. Like, I have just seen some tweets about it. Like,
No,
his comments about like Chilwell
honestly,
and
you know
things like
what?
that. Are they going the right way? Do you think he has to improve somewhere?
I don't know if they. I can't answer whether he is going the right way. But what happens is what I want the Chelsea to do is not get stuck into this Arsenal syndrome of phases. Genuinely, not even taking a dig. I'm genuinely saying I don't want this phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four shit. I just want you to compete for titles immediately, because Chelsea and Arsenal are completely different. Because Arsenal built their squad over 5 seasons, and Chelsea had a squad ready. And you come in, probably you can get away with this season because it's your first season, and still you are expected to win the Conference League and probably take deep into all the competitions. And next season, I don't think so. You can't get away because you need to compete for the title regardless. And I still think he will get a lot of help in the transfer market in summer and January window. And once you do that, you can't get away. You can't say I have phases of product. This is phase one. This is phase two. This is phase three. And the expectation will be like you have to compete for the title right here, right now. I don't care whether you have a 5-year contract or a 6-year contract. It's like next season you are competing for the title. As simple as that.
Ani, with
I think
respect to the centre
more than
back,
that.
sorry, Rohit. I'll just finish this. So with respect to the
Yeah, go
centre
ahead.
back, as I told before, right? You should definitely give Renato Veiga the mantle before you sell Lissasi or Badiashile or something. I really think he's really physical and he really knows his positioning, and he just needs a morale boost. By playing him a couple of games in centre back, he might really have that morale boost and start hitting his top notch. And then I also like with respect to the striker position, you should give Nicholas Jackson his rest. I also think Mark Gui, who is that Lamazia product you have, he was firing on all cylinders in the Carabao Cup and all of those games.
No,
I
I
was
don't think so.
really,
Not even Carabao Cup. He's just
yeah,
been him and Nkunku has just been good at
yeah,
Conference League. Not anywhere in English football.
He's from
exactly. Like,
Lamasia. I can attest to that. That is his level. There is a reason why we shipped him when every 14-year-old, 17-year-old is on the pitch for Barca.
exact. No, Mark Gui should be given some chances to prove his mantle too, because I see him really. As far as I've seen him, he's really fast. He's really physical. He can tackle really tall and
I'll
physical
give you one word.
defenders.
He is really deceiving. This is
Ah,
why
Yeah,
exactly.
might
I
be.
kind
Yeah,
of agree. The thing is, no. At this point in time at Chelsea, in terms of strikers, Nicholas Jackson is number one. Mark Gui is number two, and Nkunku has fallen in the pecking order at number three, because Gui does this press extremely well.
yeah.
He presses his life. Like if you miss a press, it's like he'll die the next moment. So he presses so well, and that's why Enzo Maresca likes him. I still think he has a lot of things to patch up in his games. Um, that's why I told him. I even for a player like Nicholas Jackson, who's been good this season, I still give him only a backup striker at Chelsea, because Nicholas Jackson is an extremely good backup striker. He can't be your striker who will take Chelsea to that title winning level. Off the bench, Nicholas Jackson is a beast, and you have to buy a striker in and out who is going to finish, who's a finished product and is going to produce right here, right now. I am talking to the likes of Emily Proven. Probably you can take Isaac. Isaac, I still don't want him at Chelsea because of his injury records, and we already have a terrible record of it. And I don't want again to confuse Jackson and Isaac. And I genuinely don't think Jackson is that far away from Isaac, because at the same age of Jackson, Isaac hasn't been this good, and Isaac is 2 years and 3 years older than Jackson. So I think Jackson has a lot more to give. We have to be patient with Jackson, honestly. But again, in terms of chances to
I
give
would
you an
actually disagree with that because since I watch La Liga regularly, Isak always had a very good ceiling. He was always going to go to one of the big clubs. It was just a question of whether it was Atletico Madrid or Barca. Lesser said about Barca's affordability, the
no,
better.
it's not about. See, the
No,
thing
no
is,
Isak
chance.
swooped in. So I wouldn't say that Isak wasn't as good as Jackson was 2-3 years ago.
I still say Jackson was a little better And the
You have
season
to
he
take the
finished at La
context.
Liga. I think he also was from La Liga and Villarreal, right?
Yes,
He had a
Villarreal.
really good season at Villarreal, and we got him for 32 million, which is a really cheap deal. It's not the point. The point is basically at the same age as Isaac, and same age as Jackson. Jackson has been better striker at that age. That is just the point. It's not that I'm not saying Isaac is a bad player or Isaac is. He's just got a lot more to give. It's just that he's a backup, really good backup striker. And in terms of chances to Guiu and Nkunku, it's just that we have given them chances. It's just not that we've not given them chances. It's just that they've not proven. We are, again, that's the pressure of playing for Chelsea. You have to prove. One, that is all you get, 1 or 2 chances, and if you don't prove, and you'll immediately start going down the pecking order. And that's what happened to Nkunku, and he's really unhappy, and I don't know who's going to buy him at this point because his style doesn't suit. He's no Enzo Maresca has come out in press conferences and he said that he's not a striker, but he's still playing as a striker at Chelsea. I don't know why, and I still don't know, because if he's not a striker and he's still playing as a striker at Chelsea, it's a really questionable decision from Enzo. But I still think Guiu will be given a lot more chances in the second of the season, and we might even end up buying one more striker. Who knows?
All right, let's move on to Liverpool. Flying high, Charlie and the fellow Reds. Nobody would have given them this position at the table if you had to ask them at the start of the season. I really can't think you have a lot of complaints, man. Just like
Yes. Yeah,
asking all of this.
yes. So once
Actually, let me take that back. I know you have like about 2,000 issues off the pitch, but at least in terms of point table,
Yeah.
you have that somehow going for you. I don't know how you do that with all these distractions.
No, let me start from the beginning, right? So when Arne Slot was literally announced as the Liverpool manager, right? I literally thought we top four, like I want top four. That's it. I'm not being ambitious. I'm not being over ambitious. I'm not asking for anything really special. Like I need at least one trophy this season. Otherwise, we aren't we are not being on the same table as Manchester United, or they might beat us in the trophies list or something like that. I just want top four, and I just don't want any over ambitions or something. But Arne Slot has really like underestimated my predictability and prediction powers, and he has really
Yeah,
punched above his
sure.
weight.
That was one of his job goals as well. Prove Charlie
No,
wrong. Impress Charlie.
no, like he has. I think with this particular squad, he has really punched above his weight. For his first season with Liverpool with such a new squad, I still remember the first day when he came into the Liverpool camp. Everyone was giving him the eyes, whether like, oh, he's the new manager, whether he will be successful with us. Like Jurgen Klopp was like a second father to all of us. This guy looks like. This guy looks like the average man walking out on the street, whether he will be able to manage us or stuff like that. So I think, as you said, I really don't have that much complaints. But as we have spoken before, right? We spoke about the concept of stocks falling and stocks rising for all of our clubs. I really do think some of the stocks have really dropped, not dropping. They have really dropped. I think we really need to oust Darwin Núñez and Andrew Robertson out of Liverpool. Andrew Robertson's legs have really been tired since the start of last season itself. I could really see him slow down and not that speedy since last season. And Darwin Núñez, I mean, just get the hell out, man. I don't want you as a striker. I don't want you as a striker anymore. Just put Luis Diaz or Jota and then rotate both of them
I'm
as the next
genuinely so
striker.
happy because last season he was compared to Nicholas Jackson and told that he was better than Nicholas
Yeah,
Jackson.
I mean, exactly. I mean, I am not buying that charade of that football Twitter says he only scores bangers, he doesn't score sitters. I mean, shut the fuck up and get out, man. That's what I'm saying.
You are a footballer. You are paid to score all kinds of goals.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, that is why. Yeah, that is what a striker, a number nine, a classic number nine is supposed to do, and he's not doing that, even though he's been given a plethora of chances. Okay, so Darwin Núñez and Robertson get out, and then bring in Anthony Robinson. You know, Milos Kerkez has been on the radar of Liverpool, Milos Kerkez is not a Liverpool type player. He is much of a Trent Alexander-Arnold on the left side of the pitch. He's very offensive. Whereas Anthony Robinson gives you the defensive and the offensive balance on the pitch. Although he has one of the highest assists, he has 8 assists this season, Anthony Robinson, and he also does the defensive patch that Fulham really needs. So bring in Anthony Robinson, who has really fresh legs and who's of the same age as Trent too. Okay, and I think we might get in some really good striker or a second striker who can really support Luis Diaz or Jota when they're doing the winger, patch, right? Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, Jota are rotating the left wing and striker position, and whereas at the start of the season, I thought Dominic Soboslai would be a liability with all of his how to say. He made really bad mistakes in midfield at the start of the season. But over the last 2 games, right, we hadn't had Dominic Soboslai on the pitch, and it really shows. We really miss him because Alexis McAllister and Ryan Gravenberch take care of the first third and the middle third, center third of the pitch. They rotate the ball and they keep the ball floating around the pitch, and then they supply to the forwards. Whereas Dominic Soboslai is the one who does the major progressive passes into the final third to the strikers and the wingers. It really showed against Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur that we really missed him.
And apparently, broadcasters also raised a complaint saying their Liverpool watch numbers have significantly dropped in particular demographics because Soboslai was not playing.
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, women. Yeah, he is really hot. I get it. Okay, so yeah, okay, so I can't blame it for it. Yeah, Rohit. Yeah.
Couple of points. I think looking for a left-sided Trent is a fool's errand. Let me be clear about that because you can only approximate a Trent. There is no other Trent in the world in any world football. Exactly. It's going to be so. Yeah, so good players make a great team. Who would have thought? Like Slot, like walking in and like leading the pack. I mean, if you have like PL all-timers in your team, it makes your job a little easier. So I think the real test of Slot comes in summer. Like you said, there are a lot of changes that he needs to make, and that's when again there are so many aspects of a manager that get tested at a club like Liverpool or Chelsea, right? Tactics is just one of them. You have to have your talent ID on point. You have to be in sync with the board. You need to manage up really well. So yeah, I think, and I want to get your opinion on this. Like I've said this before, that if Liverpool are serious in the summer, they go slap 100 million on 90 million or 100 million on Brighton's desk and get Carlos Baleba. He would be an incredible signing for Liverpool. He's going to be a hot property, but I think he would do really, really well at Liverpool. Any thoughts about that?
Okay, I'll be honest here. I hadn't thought about Carlos Baleba for the moment. We have Ryan Gravenberch and Wataru Endo who actually rotate each other for, like, Gravenberch take care of the majority shifts in the Premier League and the Champions League, and Endo takes care of the cup competitions for us. I'm really not blaming Endo here. He literally plays like a 25-year-old. He really gives tough competitions to Ryan Gravenberch's work rate and ability to pass the ball from the defensive third to the attacking third. And I really don't see any reinforcements really needed there. Although you suggest that we should be ambitious, right? That's not my first and foremost concerns.
Yeah, I think the way I think about it is that, you know, the age curve comes for every footballer sooner or later.
Yeah.
So Endo, that's my big concern with Endo. I think I have the same concerns about Anthony Robinson. He relies a lot on his physicality, pace, and power also. He's a very good technician also, but he's 27. You might get like a couple of good seasons, but, you know, once his reliance on the pace and ability goes, it might not be a worthwhile investment. You might be better off getting someone who's like 22 or something, who might not be at the level of Anthony Robinson, but he can grow into the role over the next like 2 or 3 seasons.
Totally. I like, instead of like slapping a 90 million or 100 million on like say a Carlos Baleba, I think we should slap a 90 million or 100 million on a really good poacher. Okay, like I've always off topic, I've always admired Diego Costa at Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
He was one of those poachers whom you really feared. He was one of those poachers whom you would take in your FPL and captain him on every single game week because he was that lethal in front of goal. I want a striker like Diego Costa at Chelsea at Liverpool. Okay.
I think that's a hot commodity that everyone wants. Like, it's the same thing that Arsenal also need. Someone like Aubameyang, get someone who can doesn't do anything else, just scores goals. I think that's the hardest position.
The problem with you wanting a Diego Costa right now is you will get a lot of red cards. Diego Costa played in an era where there was no VAR. So the amount of nuisance he did and amount of eye gouging he did.
Got away with it's insane.
No,
Bro,
I don't
What
want
happened
to.
to him?
Level
What is he doing now, by the way? Does anyone know?
I think he's in Japan
He
or
signed for
something, right?
Wolves, right? He signed for Wolves a couple of seasons ago.
Played a year.
Man, Diego Costa's announcement with Wolves, I'll never forget that. What an
Incredible.
announcement.
It was one of the best ever.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, but I think he's in Japan or somewhere, right?
I have no idea where Diego Costa right now.
Wherever he is, I'm sure he's accumulating red cards there as well.
Definitely.
Totally. I mean, I don't want a striker with the, how to say, the off physical lethality of Diego Costa. I want the poaching lethality of Diego Costa. That's it. I don't
All
want
right,
a-
I've waited enough. It's time to move on to why
Yes.
we're all here. Proper drubbing of Real Madrid. I'll admit, I couldn't care less about the Mickey Mouse Cup. After all, it's the fourth competition for teams, and it's played in Saudi. There is a lot of, let's just say, geopolitics involved, which reduces the prestige of the competition, as if it could afford that. But all said and done, both teams put out what was their strongest 11, and then when you have that, you really have to respect the competition, at least at that point. And I did not expect the result, obviously, but feels really nice.
I mean, how do you guys have that consistent crests and troughs, man? Like, you regularly spank Real Madrid, you lose against Las Palmas.
See,
How do
actually,
you do that?
it's not random, right? I've seen Barca for 10, 12 years. The problem
Yeah,
has
me
always
too.
been against low block teams. So Barca always thrive against teams that doesn't mind attacking, keeping the ball. Real Madrid, Manchester City, PSG. That's why we regularly drop Sevilla as well, while Madrid struggles with them.
Like,
But we struggle against the likes of
man,
Atletico, Las
I,
Palmas.
man, I still remember like the 2018-19 season where Barca wins the La Liga, where Ernesto Valverde was the manager. You lose just one game against Levante, where they play a 5-4-1 formation. I mean, that was insane. That was an insane game where Coutinho hits a hat trick, and then Barca lose 4-5. Levante hit 5 goals and Barca hit 4 goals.
You are about to do the Invincibles the season.
Yeah, I mean, just one game, and Levante just hit 3 goals in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They literally exploit your defense and then hit the counter-attacking.
Defense has never been our strong side, but shout out to Rafinha, our captain. Somebody
Insane
on Twitter
performance.
said that
Insane
he was
performance,
collecting all those football stats on your apps like Thanos
Infinity Stones.
My favorite was when he ran off the pitch with the medical kit because Real Madrid were trying to waste time with treating Mbappe on the pitch. I mean, that's just. I understand, like, rival fans
taking the piss, OG. Yeah.
And I think he definitely deserved a yellow card for that. He got away with it. Let's be real, but it makes for good TV for both neutrals and Barca fans. That was really fun. Last time Real Madrid conceded 5 goals in 2018 versus Barcelona. They really should have considered 8.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. They got away because Barca were a man down, and the fact that they still couldn't score another goal for the next 30 minutes speaks volumes about where the catastrophic season that Madrid is having. But yeah, Barca, I'm really glad like we have things on track, man. Like after the disastrous December that
The
I
thing
think
is not about Barca.
Killer.
Barca does have things on track on field at the moment because of Flick. You guys had that same thing with Xavi too for a while. And how are things going to turn when it's off the field? That's the question.
Actually, first of all, I would disagree with that. I don't think Barca had it together on the field with Xavi. We were scraping away with like 1-0 wins. We didn't mind having like less than 50% possession. That was unheard for Barca until Xavi came on. We were eking out a lot of wins, and I remember I was like watching it in India, and you wake up at like 2 a.m. to watch Xavi ball. It was painful, man. Like even with the result, like we were playing like how Madrid plays in Champions League, right? So I don't think it's fair to compare Flick's Barca with Xavi's at all. Flick's is highly positional. They play in like 2 gears above what Xavi did for sure. The intensity is just off the charts. And moving on to your point about addressing the off-field concerns, I really think Laporta, our president, is doing the best he can. He has his flaws. He tends to run off his mouth. Sometimes he is not really transparent about how things are. He promises a lot, and a lot of times doesn't end up delivering them. The uh, highlight being, yeah, we are definitely re-signing Messi. I think every time Laporta promises, he kind of just a week later he finds out the mess he is in. Like at every turn, the old board has done us dirty, and it's like digging for skeletons in a graveyard, right? There is always new ones coming up that you
Classic.
didn't know you had, and with that, with the resources he has had, the limitations he has had, Laporta is really doing his best, and hopefully we have like sold everything that we can from the Camp Nou grass to the VIP seats. I don't think there is anything left to sell.
Yeah.
There are
Except
no
for
levers to pull.
who?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We keep hearing about the economic levers.
Yeah, so much economics. I studied commerce and I still learned more from Barca, man. So I think we should let Laporta worry about off the pitch stuff because he managed to bring Olmo back for the finals and he did a good job, right? Just that's not on the players or Hansi Flick. If you have a good 11 at your disposal, your job is to win games, and Barca is doing that. Your president is doing what he can.
Good. Like Laporta is a classic case of over promising and under delivering things. So,
Yeah, I mean, the guy is a lawyer, so and a politician, so I'm not surprised, right? It's not for me to comment. If you deliver me trophies, I think Anirudh keeps saying this, right? I don't care what the team does off the pitch. I just give me the trophies. That's all I
Yeah,
need.
that's actually true. But after a point, we have to consider what's happening off the field because we are at
It's
that
got
stage.
to
it
influence your
influences
game's
a
case.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, Ronaldo Araujo to Juventus. That's case in point right there, right? One of our best defenders.
Wait. Once, see, like on another case, once like Ronaldo Rojo sees the Thiago Motta 272 doctrine, right? He'll run helter skelter. Okay, after playing flickball and Xavi ball. Okay, I mean, please just save Ronaldo Rojo from Juventus, man. Don't let him go to Juventus of all teams.
I
I'm
think
not
there's a
sure
lot
how
of agent
accurate
talk
it
here
is.
going on as well. I think there's a lot of agent talk here going on as well. He's been
Yeah.
shopping around, like the agent has been shopping him around. I saw links to Arsenal. I saw links to Manchester United.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll happen.
See, he's our captain. He's actually our first captain. So ideally, we wouldn't want him to move. He's one of the best defenders in the world, especially one on one. I think he came back like after nearly a year, and yesterday was his first game with a proper team. He played against a fourth
After,
tier opposition. Just a minute, Charlie. So, and the
yeah,
way
yeah.
that he owned Mbappe and Vinicius, that went under the radar because of Barca's offensive exploits. Somebody who can just seamlessly slot in like that, you can't afford to lose him.
Mm.
Um, a
Totally.
silver lining in Inigo's injury yesterday is he's out for a month, which means Araujo is going to start every game between now and when Inigo returns. So hopefully between that and a new contract talks underway, let's just hope he's trying to get the highest offer possible.
What is the situation with Danny Olomo? Have you guys finally registered him?
Yes, they
I
have.
think
Yes,
it's
they
just
have.
a lot of smoke, man. I think he's good to
Yes.
play, and until a
Yeah.
verdict has arrived, he's still gonna play. And I would actually worry more about Real Madrid than Real Barca.
Yeah, I was going to come to that. Yeah, I'm not a huge follower of La Liga, but what do you think is happening with Real Madrid? I think from the outside observer, right, it's always coming down to the same old thing where you have again they sign the big attacker and then they struggle to fit him in because you can't like leave Mbappe on the bench. Carlo Ancelotti, he's Carlo, man. Don Carlo did his magic all these seasons. Now he's kind of, I think, at the end of the rope. I don't see him lasting beyond the edge of this season. So, what do you think?
Is Zidane
uh,
coming back?
who?
Is Zidane coming back?
Before we go to Don Carlo, let me shout out Zidane. Man. I mean, this guy, legendary player. He comes back three seasons, wins three Champions Leagues, refuses to elaborate, just leaves, and he's done.
Yeah.
He's like, that's it, I'm done.
The last we heard of him, he was chilling somewhere in the French Riviera, sipping a pina colada and something. Yeah,
incredible. Like
also,
if you need, he's like you need swag like that guy.
I know. I grew up watching. I think my first game I have been watching Headbutt Matrasi, like when I was an 8-year-old or something.
Really? Oh, yeah. I mean, the guy had it all right. A really, really good playing career, a really, really good manager career. He's like the Ajit Kumar of football world. he has a really, really good family. His sons play football. He's settled, man. He's the Ajit Kumar of football world. Come on, I'm convinced, seriously. But Chris, on another note, how does Barcelona keep spawning these 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds and play them really, really clearly, and they're clinical as well on the pitch whenever some major player gets injured? Like Ronaldo Araujo got injured, and then Pau Cubarsí takes his spot like he was playing football like 10 years. Okay, like I'm still I've been seeing Barcelona for 12 years now, and I'm still puzzled on how efficient La Masia are in that aspect.
It's just La Masia. These are kids. See, Cubarsí is 17 now, but he has been playing with Lamine Yamal and Gavi from when they were like 7 years. So obviously that's gonna translate. Like La Masia has a factory where the blueprint is set, and every product is unique, but it's also the same in that they have the same manufacturer, same DNA and all. But coming to Real Madrid, and I think somebody on the chat as well called it out, right? Off the ball position. And if you look at the goals yesterday, it didn't need Barca to ship 5 past them. Like you could throw in a second division team from Premier League, or even a team like Tottenham would have walked away with a 5-0 win over this Real Madrid yesterday, right? They don't have real defenders. It's all makeshift. You have like the likes of Camavinga, Lucas Vazquez. He's a right winger. He's a mediocre right winger, with all due respect. I like the guy's character and what he brings. He's your James Milner type player in La Liga, right? But if you expect him to, hold the fort against players of Rafinha and Lamine's caliber, that's suicidal, to say the least.
I think they will play out whatever they can this season, and they'll if they are really poor, I like one of the other guys called it in the chat. They will go to Xabi Alonso.
Exactly. So I think that's why Xabi Alonso waited until this season as well. Last season, we were all sure that he was gonna move, but he figured things were still stabilizing, and he didn't want that big jump right away. I definitely think Carlo is out, and Xabi, he's primed to take out. And I think Trent is also in. Real Madrid would have seen yesterday's performance, and Trent, whatever he was gonna get at Real Madrid, that just went up by 50K a week. He's definitely being right back for Real Madrid.
I mean, probably Trent is probably negotiating with Real Madrid like stacks of money with him and the phone on this side. Okay.
Yeah.
After the world seeing Lucas Vazquez defend against like that pathetically against Barcelona, anyone would give Trent a truckload of money.
I would love to have Trent on my team. He's smart. He has a good passing range. He sucks at defending. He's your prototypical Barca right back.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, no money with all our financial constraints.
I think you have to put Barcelona in his name so that he can come and play for you guys.
Yeah.
That's the last lever.
Yeah.
That's genuinely the last player, because I think he will play well for you guys, but I think you will have to give the entire club to him.
No. The rights to Camp Nou for 5 years. Instead of Spotify Camp Nou, Trent Alexander-Arnold Camp Nou.
Camp Nou. But I think Real Madrid. Real Madrid are getting Trent because they can, and where else is Trent gonna go? And if right back defending is your priority, if you want a defender, lock-on defender, Trent is not the one you would go for. You go for him, go to him for other reasons.
He's the best right back.
whatever he brings with his passing and everything, it's just outweighs any defensive lapses. And I think his defensive lapses are a little
And
overblown.
this is an interesting point from Kannan, right? Like they had Carvajal, Theo, obviously he played left back, and Hakimi. And the fact that Trent has all these contractual drama growing on with Liverpool, the same time when Real Madrid desperately need a signing in right back, it's just right place at the right time, man. Like it's in any other time, even with all the drama, I don't think he could have come to Madrid because Carvajal wasn't getting displaced, or in another world, Hakimi would have actually been the backup. But this is just perfect timing. It's just freaking inevitable, like how Mbappe came earlier this season.
Man,
Yeah.
I think the last point is coming back, at least on Barca from me, is I would really, really, really like to see them play against a team that's great out of possession. It would be an amazing contest.
Yeah, it was Las Palmas. It did not work out well for us.
I mean, see, Chris, just one point from me. I've seen Trent play for like 7 to 8 years, man. Okay, his position is not right back. He's an RDM or an RM at best. Okay,
and enough of this gimmick, guys. He's a right
Yeah,
back.
this is like once again XG, right? Anytime a player cannot fit in a conventional position,
I've seen this with so many players. Right now, Rohit is facing that issue with Kai Havertz. We have the same problem with Kai Havertz when he was at Chelsea. We have the same problem now. We are trying to get. It's not about whether Reece James is a right back or not. Reece James is a right back. It's just because his physicality, we are making him play centre back. Now, if he is going to get injured at centre back, we'll make him play goalkeeper, so he has less movement. So that's exactly it. He is a right back. That's basically it.
I think that is a good note to end on. I am tired of all these gimmicks and all these false non-footballers. So in our cricket streams, we have this term to define the likes of Mitchell Marsh. We call them no-rounders. Football has that case as well. A lot of players.
So yeah, 2 title deciders next week. Yes, let's go.
You want to call out what they are?
Yeah, Arsenal, Tottenham, and there's the North London Derby and Liverpool, Nottingham.
Why is Liverpool, Nottingham?
Liverpool, Nottingham.
Come on.
Sorry. My bad. Oh my God, I offended the PL fans by underestimating Nottingham.
I think in the top 4, they are the only one team hasn't have the Champions League.
Yes.
And it's not Nottingham Forest.
Oh.
Good one.
Not gonna lie, he had us in the first half. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us in the mid-season review. Thank you for those who watched as well and people who actively engaged and making it interactive. Fun chat. We'll come back again next Monday, 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.